So you just bought a brand new 7-string and you have no idea what to do with it. Well, let me show you the ropes on everything with the 7-string for beginners. To first understand the 7-string guitar, we need to make sure you understand guitar tunings with intervals. You see, each string on the guitar is separated in fourths, aside from the G string to the B string. That's why when people play scales or octaves, they'll notice you have to go up an extra fret when getting to the B string. You can look at this example using a diminished arpeggio. With a little more advanced theory for you, playing fourths on top of each other is called chordal harmony. Something you really don't need to know in detail for right now, but rather just need to understand when using fourths, you'll eventually hit past the octave exactly where you started, like E, A, D, G, C, F sharp, B, and E. So the major third with the G to the B string kind of cleans this up. So that way, when we hit the high E octave on string 1, we have our octave of low E to high E. Now that you know the reasoning behind the tunings and the E octave, from here, the 7-string is simply a repeat on the high B string. Now let's dive into how we can play more diverse chords using the 7th string. Luckily, some of the most common chord types like power chords are pretty much the same. However, using other chord shapes like bar chords, you might find a little bit weird, but pretty cool. For example, playing a low E based minor chord on the low B string, say on the 5th fret, creates what we call a polychord. As in, the B string to the D string is an E minor chord, but then the G string to the high string creates an A minor triad in second inversion. You can experiment with all sorts of bar chord shapes that you already know and just play them based off of the low B string, and it often creates some sort of polychord or chord extension. You just need to get faster at spotting and stacking these triads on the spot. So if you feel like your theory is kind of holding you back and you like this style of teaching, I'll leave links below so that way you can work a little more closely on me with guitar and music theory. One quick note is, if you want to make your life a little bit easier with bar chords, using those E string based ones, just extend the bar chord to the low B string. If you create a regular bar chord, let's say A minor, and you just bar the low B string, you get that nice low second inversion. Right like that. So the next thing we need to talk about are how scales and arpeggios work with the low B string, considering now you have a wide variety of stuff to use on the fretboard. So the good news is nothing really should change as long as you have a decent understanding of scales and octaves across the fretboard. So I'll show you what I mean. So to make things easier, scales should be thought of as a numbered system for right now to make the octave switch easier. So for example, an E minor pentatonic scale only has 5 notes, right? And then it repeats at the octave. Right? What you could do is you could simply play the first 5 notes and then just slide your index up 2 frets and play the same shape. But the B string, of course, you got to go up an extra fret, right? So applying the principle to the low B string is exactly the same thing. But the only thing you have to look out for is you have to raise the B string up by an extra fret. Remember that rule with the B string is that every time you get up to that B string, you're going to wound up going up a fret like this. Just like that. So arpeggios work pretty much the same as any other string. So again, as long as you know the octave rule, this shouldn't really be a huge problem. So here's something like E minor, B string up an extra fret, just like that. So that means that in terms of sweep picking, you could either use the easy inversion bar method with any E string sweep, or you can transpose any shape to the low B, which is a little bit more advanced, so I'll show you that in another video. But if you want to stick with the inversion stuff for your sweep, just think about a sweep that you're really comfortable with, like let's say a D minor shape. If you go directly up on the low B string, you're going to get the 5th, right? Writing riffs is the next thing that we'll talk about. So this shouldn't really be overthought. So think about how you write riffs on the 6th string most commonly, but just do it on the low E string. You can also drop tune the low B to an A. has kind of that drop D effect, so you can do that and get some lower notes in that, and you can kind of just do the same thing with any drop tuning. Like my other guitar is in drop G, so let me know if you want a part 2 of this. I'd be happy to show you more of the advanced stuff with it. But yeah, that'll be it for the video. Be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment on what you thought, and then I'll see you in the next video.